How you doing? I'm Mike Gatty, and welcome to the Patterson Park Podcast. So here's the deal. When I create a podcast episode, I spend about a day and a half editing it, and I think very carefully about what I chop out. The activists and artists and entrepreneurs that I talk to are really passionate about what they do, so I don't want to cut out something just in the interest of time that they are vehement about. I'm always afraid I'm going to make the wrong decision, and I spend a lot of time thinking about it. But then I got to thinking, I like the episodes to be 20 minutes. When I talk to them and interview them, it actually goes about 40 minutes, sometimes even longer, because we get on a roll talking, and it's just this fountain of creativity. And that's why I do the podcast, to be able to talk to these people about what they're doing and what they're passionate about. So I decided to create this little live stream, and I'm going to do this when I have information that I think is important and interesting and that tickles me in some way, but didn't quite fit into the episode for editing reasons. Now, if you missed the Pariah Sinclair podcast, the full episode, you can go online on Vimeo, on YouTube, or on any of our audio channels and take a look at that episode. You can always go to useventphotos.com, which is my company, and we have all the episodes there and links to follow on your favorite audio platform. But right now, we're going to talk to Pariah Sinclair in what I have dubbed the Pariah Sinclair Extra Special Tidbit, Tasty Tidbit. We cover a couple really interesting topics, including how Rupaul's drag race has affected drag locally, and my personal favorite, what is Barbie crotch? So please put on your headphones, put in your contacts, and take a listen. Things have changed a lot in drag and in the drag community over, I would say, the last few years. And I swear, I think a lot of it is driven by RuPaul and RuPaul's Drag Race and bringing drag more and more and more into the mainstream. But what I've noticed is while it's going into the mainstream, it's also becoming so competitive, and the costuming is getting more and more sophisticated. The makeup is getting more and more sophisticated. This last season, to me, some of those that looked like Cirque du Soleil performers in how they did their makeup, and was just shockingly Broadway level, costuming, gorgeous. Even the girl who got thrown off first had gorgeous costuming.
Yeah.
How has that trickled down on the local level and in Baltimore? Has it gotten more competitive, and how has that affected your relationships with the other girls?
So I will say, I'm trying to think out how to start into this question. Okay, first thing is that obviously Drag Race, that's a very unrealistic view of local drag, because obviously we don't have teams, we don't have that type of budget. Because I was like, did you watch the season 13 finale?
Oh yes, baby, I was glued to it.
So I thought that the ball, like with the top four, that was basically just a battle of the budgets, because we know that none of them made those looks. Like, it was just, I don't know. I just feel like that's just like a really unrealistic portrayal of drag.
And that is kind of what I'm getting at. If that's becoming the standard. Now, albeit, we're talking national here versus local, but still, if that's becoming the standard, that is a tough bar to raise.
And I will say what I've been seeing, especially after the performances have been inside for more than a year, and what I've seen is that people have definitely been stepping their game up, and that people have realized, okay, I've definitely seen a lot more looks be more conceptual. People are putting a lot more thought into their looks, into their performances, which I think is good. Obviously, we can't do what got Mick did in the finale. That's a lot of money, what they put into their finale looks. But I think overall, I have seen a lot of more thought and more effort going into drag since the start of COVID. But yeah, I think drag is naturally competitive. Getting your competition part of the question. But yeah, I think for me, I'm only in competition right with myself. I'm not really like, I mean, I think we're naturally competitive with each other, but I'm not like, I guess, scared or like, I'm not threatened. Threatened's better. I'm not threatened by anybody.
Do you do the pageants and everything, the competitions?
No, so I've done 2 pageants in my life when I was my first couple of years. I lost both. I think for me, like if I would have, so I didn't prepare it as I should have. So if I would ever do a pageant, I would probably take a month off of drag and like solely because it's like pageants, you have to put a lot of preparation into them. So.
And one question I wanted to ask, and it kind of fell off of my out of my head, is, is it uncomfortable for you when you like are out shopping for clothes? And do you still in today 2021 get sort of looks, being the man buying the sexy, high heeled size 15 pump?
So I will say, like, I don't do a lot of drag shopping now, like out in the stores. But I will say that because there are sometimes like I need to get a bra or I need to get some panties. So I do feel a little uncomfortable when I'm like in Walmart in like in the panty section.
So you wear panties under your outfit?
Yeah, it's like tucking panties and then like panties. Yeah, because like I wear like pads and four pairs of tights. So if I didn't wear panties over them, in the drag queens we call them that Barbie crotch, and you don't want Barbie crotch, so you want to wear some panties.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
I did you say it's called Barbie crotch?
Barbie crotch, yeah.
Right, because I got it. So, it still is a little, you're squeamish, say, shopping at Walmart.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'll do it, but I do like feel like, especially because like I am 6'4" out of drag, and like I'm this tall guy, going into in the women's section. And I will say sometimes like when I go to get makeup, because I do go to like Ulta and places to get makeup, I do get looks sometimes, but I'm like, whatever. I know more about makeup than probably more than people that work there. So, yeah.
On Rupaul, they always ask at the end of the season, before the finale, they always hold up a picture of the 6-year-old or 5-year-old self. Mm-hmm. And they say, if you were talking to your 5-year-old self, I swear to God, I thought that was going to be a picture of your 5-year-old self.
No.
I know, he has it right there. Oh, if you were telling your 5-year-old self, advice, what would you say? So I guess I'd love to know, if you were telling your 5-year-old self, what advice would you give that kid?
I would tell them that, middle school is going to be tough. I would tell them to get into therapy earlier. I would tell them to come out earlier. And just to not give a fuck what anyone says. Like I was definitely so worried about like my reputation and what other people thought about me. So I would say just stop giving a fuck like very early on. Yeah.
When you perform, is it easier when you're in character as Pariah Sinclair? Is it easier not giving a fuck than when you're walking around in your boy clothes?
I mean, at this point, I don't give a fuck.
Either way.
Yeah, in and out of drag, yeah.
Right. Sort of, and I want this to be a platform for artists to continuously communicate to an audience that they can market to. Oh. So when you have announcements, you have an audience that, I want to bring people on for what I call the weekend updates, which are live streams that are a little more casual and talk about upcoming projects that you have. So you have a continuous place to build your audience and drive people to your events. One thing we didn't talk about is your merchandise, and I do want to, because I have got to put that googly-eyed underwear on your right here. Yeah,
so yeah, you can go to pariahsinclair.com for that. So like my logo is like my eyes, like my I think my eyes and lips. Yeah, I think that's my.
Yeah, did you create that, or did you have another artist do that for you?
Oh, yeah, I gave the idea to an artist, and they created it for me.
So It was a collaboration.
Collaboration, and then I have two shirts that have like pictures like what's it called? I guess like performance photos on them. So like one of them is like I'm doing like a high kick during a show, and the other is I'm sniffing poppers during a performance. So you can get that on my website. It's a link on my website.
Were they real poppers? I don't think
Yes, they were.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I don't think I could perform it. I mean, I could perform doing other things.
Yeah, that was a fun show. That was so in DC they have a show called Gay Bash, and they brought that to Baltimore, and I did the first Gay Bash Baltimore, and yeah, that was from that show. That was a fun show.
Now, wasn't that special? I've been waiting to use that line. I have been waiting to use that line. Church lady was my hero growing up. Don't ask. Anyway, thank you for joining me with Pariah Sinclair. You can see why I wanted those little tasty tidbits to make it out, even if it wasn't in the original episode. I love creative people. I love East Baltimore. I love our neighborhoods. And there's so much going on here. It has been my absolute privilege to create this podcast to bring a little slice of Baltimore and East Baltimore to you wherever you may be. My work is going to start. I have events scheduled coming up faster than I thought. And what that's going to mean is I'm not going to have as much time to dedicate to this podcast. I will bring you episodes when I can and when my schedule lets me. Meanwhile, we're going to continue a couple of projects. One project I would like is to formally invite other podcasters who have a podcast about art or activism or a particular interesting entrepreneurial people to come to the Patterson Park Podcast Facebook page and share your podcast. I think that there is an audience out there for people to listen to other podcasts that are interested in what I'm saying, may be interested in what you're saying. So let's share it. Number 2, if you've been on the podcast, please don't be afraid to share your ongoing work with the Patterson Park Podcast Facebook page. And if you listen to the podcast, please join the page because you'll get continuous updates from your favorite personalities that were interviewed on the podcast. Coming up this weekend on Saturday at 1 p.m., we'll do our second live stream, which I have dubbed Weekend Update. You can see I am a Saturday Night Live fan, unlike my husband. So anyway, on Weekend Update, we will have Baltimore's... That did not just happen. Whatever. Baltimore's original weird girl, Shelley Brown. So please join me 1 p.m. That will be live. It will be streamed live, and Shelley will be the first person I interview live here in my new podcast studio in my office. So I'm really looking forward to it, if nothing else than to show off my studio to someone that I have a great respect for, Shelley Brown. So tune in live Saturday at 1 o'clock, unless it's sunny, and then catch the rerun. Because it's beautiful outside. Anyway, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening.